Greetings, cocksuckers. Just to be clear, Google, YouTube, this is a adult-only, non-ad-friendly podcast going fuck, cunts, shit, piss, and go to hell. Thank you very much. Hello, Jerry. How are you?
Fucking amazing. I quite like the little test card thing that you have at the start now.
Yes.
Rated C.
You didn't last time. That was there last time too.
Was it? I must have missed it or blanked. I don't know.
Probably. Oh, I think you didn't have your glasses on last time.
That's possible. Depending on sometimes whether or not I want to see what we're talking about. Sometimes I just take them off so I can make it up as I go.
So sometimes it's better to close your eyes and just.
Oh yeah. Just imagine.
I ignore your world and I substitute it for my
own. Very much so.
Welcome to the chat. My dog Skip, Aloyd, Crispin, the Panzerkapuze, Danley, Dutch, and whoever will be. Dutch says there is no such thing as too much whiskey.
This is correct.
Well, I'd argue there's no such thing as too much good whiskey, but bad whiskey can be too much unless you're using it for cleaning purposes. Or lighting a fire or something.
Well, Dad used to say there's no such thing as a bad whiskey, just some whiskies are better than others. Obviously, we're not including that trash from America in that, which may call itself whiskey, but isn't.
Whiskey only by name.
To be fair, there's some rough ones kicking around. There's generally with somebody attached to it, like a celebrity. There's some shitty celebrity ones kicking around.
Oh, you mean like the recent Slayer one? No, Slayer one. Slayer did another one.
Yeah, but Slayer actually do them from... Do they have a respectable establishment? I don't know where Slayer get those from. There's the Pogues have one, which is rank as fuck. Hang on. Do I still have a bottle back there for the Pogues? Oh, delightful. Oh,
this gives my energy.
Oh, yeah.
Official Irish whiskey.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah, I mean, the bottle was nice. The whiskey wasn't great. Where are we? I'm going where the streams of whiskey are flowing. We sang. Although, to be fair, Shane, nobody could understand what you were singing. And people were like, he got teeth recently. Very good, him. The Pogues Irish whiskey, some like barley held together with water and left in an oak barrel for 3 years and a day. Like, that's a good thing. 3 years and a day is literally the minimum amount of time before it can be called whiskey.
Is there some weird rule to that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. In the same way, none of our beers count as beer in Germany. Ignore the sound of clinking bottles behind that monitor. That's deliberate. Yeah, so likewise, for it to be an Irish whiskey, 3 years and 1 day is the minimum amount of time it can be casked for, and it just goes up from there. So yeah, the Pogues one isn't great. I mean, I hammered it down me, but it still wasn't great. And David Beckham does a Scotch, which is just wank.
Did it stay inside you, or did it leave?
No, it stayed inside. No, don't worry about that.
So,
there we go.
It can't be that bad. Hello, Brenda. How are you lot? So, Jerry was kind enough to supply a very long list of projects.
It's not that long. There are a few in here that will literally be going, these exist, and then just to let you know, and then we'll be moving on. So it seems longer than it is.
So it's a long list light. Easy to digest.
Yeah.
Oh, Amanda, in pain, that's always a bad thing to hear. I hope you're feeling better and it's not too hard on you, because currently we all can use some relief in any way, shape, or form we can find.
Good old Brendan Behan. Drink Canada Dry. So I thought I'd give it a go.
So let me switch to our projects. Breathing life into Kingdom Death.
Hot lion-on-lion action there.
Yes, one-on-one action only, since Pornhub is now deleting everything. we need to make up for that.
That was a bigger shock than YouTube being down yesterday, to be brutally honest. Had more of an impact on my day.
Not to mention that the YouTube downtime was merely close to an hour, and these deleting videos from Pornhub is forever.
Shame, shame.
So user Bali, a Cork member, is doing Kingdom Death, which is a
Yes.
game I've heard only by name.
It's mostly fantastic looking models with a weird civilization thing. I think everybody wakes up without a memory, and you start with a rock and go from there as you try and rebuild a civilization around a lamp.
So it's literally
That's more or
the
less it.
computer game Civilization.
Yeah, sure. If you mix it with what's that You Died game that the kids like?
Dark Souls, I
Yeah.
think.
If you got Dark Souls and Civilization and went now kiss, Kingdom Death Monster is what you would end up with, you know.
I
But
think that's a pretty easy to transcribe description to any non-board game. So he's doing a weird paint job on these.
yeah, and it hasn't quite worked. And he said it hasn't quite worked.
And he's right.
Based on my lack of light on the 3 minis, I'm going to have to rethink how he lays it out. However, you can see what he's going for. See in the first, after the green stuff, where he's got like the grey and then the flesh tones on.
This one.
Only once the flesh tones and like any bits that are lit by the lamp will be realistic colored, and then wants to go to shockingly harsh chiaroscuro style shading, so just pitch black on, because the whole idea is that beyond the lantern is
no
just
life.
yeah, it's just void and fuckery. Bit too harsh transition in places. I've seen people doing this recently. There's quite a few people doing, if you search for comic book, I'm going to send them a message anyway. If you just search for comic book style paint jobs, people have done them on quite a few things recently. Marvel Crisis Protocol and Hellboy got a lot of people doing it, where they have transitioned from black into color.
Mm.
But it's a tricky technique to do. But even though he's failed and needs another stab at it, it's a really good effort, and it's a really different way of deciding to paint them. And
yes.
That's why I picked this, because it's yes,
it's object source lighting, but on another level.
Yeah, very much so, very much so.
You know what comes to mind when he wants to have non-lit part of the miniatures in total blackness would be something like Vanta Black.
Yeah, you could do that.
Not as a complete paint job, but as a edge highlight on the end.
Yeah, on the very far sides. There was a company that did a set of like Spanish things and did them years ago with this very harsh black lighting. I can't remember who they were. I keep wanting to go back to the people who do 1664, but it's not them. But it was that
60 nylon.
That style of
Lorno says 60 nylon.
Miniature.
Whatever 60 nylon is.
60 million? Or 16, like 69.
Million? 16 lion?
It's like 69 because they're bluing each other, but they're lions.
But are they blowing or are they eating each other?
Oh no, definitely chowing down. Like there's anytime you see people doing, there's Noah Ark pictures in books for kids, the amount of times it's two male lions going up the ramp onto the ark is beyond belief. But then to be fair, most of the Christians who are doing that don't believe in evolution anyway, so maybe they thought God's will impregnated them.
And also maybe he just changed one from male to female.
Could be that.
So Tom is messing with the system, but just got logged out. You sodden bastard. Get here. And don't look at my password.
Thankfully, I'm not having that issue. So there you go.
So there's this by Bali. Nice try. And I'd encourage him to try again. Maybe not go black, but
Oh no, black's the way to go.
Would
But
it would it work if
you
he
have to
would
be very specific with it.
would it work if he'd start with let's say a gray primer and then do a white highlight on the places he would want to have the primary colors and then go on from there with washes and inks?
Um, could be.
Because I'm thinking he's taking the black that slaps over the actual color and makes this harsh transition. And if he makes maybe even gets an airbrush to make this firstly this transition like the zenithal highlighting, but in reverse, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, it'd be easier with an airbrush. It's doable hand painting. There's a guy doing it with an ink pen. So, you know.
Or maybe one of these round cosmetic brushes into stippling.
It really comes down to where you put your highlights. You have to be very exacting. Rather than the manner in which you're applying it, you need to know where you're applying it. So you can't just... There's a limited arc on the light on some of those, whereas it should be extending a bit further or possibly highlighting something else and then cutting them in. So, but if people go to about 17 minutes into that link, they'll see exactly what I'm talking about.
Next up, as you have already spoiled in chat,
yep,
Panzerkaputt is doing kittens?
Well, I linked it and then you logged yourself out and then got confused.
I'm always confused. You should be used to that by now. So Panzer is doing kittens, actually. I was just only joking about it. I just saw the Asian-like, but it's actually kittens.
Yep. It's Alternative Army's kitten range, like Nippon, but with kittens, which is all good. All good, all of the time. And I absolutely, whenever I first seen these coming up, I want to say earlier this year, I think, because this is a new range from Alternative Armies. I remember reporting on it on the news, so it can't be that long ago. I'm really impressed with them. And obviously Samurai Pizza Cats was a great cartoon, so you get that stuck in your head. Samurai Pizza Cats. Meow.
And he's using a striking color scheme then.
Well, you know, they are in samurai armor. You can't really not.
Nope.
I'm impressed with the amount of detail on the cats, to be fair, because it's not just paint color, dry brush done.
Yeah, it's there's fur to be had.
There's fur, the muzzles and noses and the like have been done as well, so it's all come together very nicely.
Yeah.
There also appears to be a squirrel and a fox, so that's good.
I think I've said it once before, but he's a talented cunt.
Oh, yeah, he's a total bastard.
Hey, fuck you.
Hi for me.
Did you listen to today's?
No, I haven't. I was.
Oh, that's a glorious 3-minute video you actually need in your life. I think I need to refresh all bloody pages. Hang on a sec.
Talk amongst yourselves. Spoilers. Jesus.
They're not that fast. Probably now I've triggered the Cloudflare protection.
I'll go one step further. If there's any epileptics in the audience, you've probably triggered a few attacks as well, as they come spinning by faster than the speed of light.
Speaking of,
if anybody's having an epileptic fit, roll your face back and forth on the keyboard and we'll try and send somebody out.
We are not responsible for anything that happens during the stream.
No, you're right there.
We can't adult, so...
So, all done and dusted in, I want to say it was a week, Pete. Was it about a week? I remember seeing the first one of these popping up.
Going back up from the colorful to the black and white ones is somehow... looking weird.
Yeah.
But, yeah, nice job done, you cunt.
Oh, shut up, you cunt!
Say a week.
I'm pretty sure he's going to kill me for that next time.
Yeah, well, he will at some point, but don't worry.
Hello, Ralph. Welcome to the chaos that is. People in chat, do you have my voice as an echo again, or is this good this time? I can't hear myself tonight. Not that I listen to myself either way. Good. That's very good.
Apparently the echo's there.
So we can blame Skype for this eventually. Next project, please. Malifaux.
This is an interesting one. Not that we're going to be spending a lot of time here, but
Shady KX125
yes,
does videos.
or as his YouTube channel is called, Despicable Dice, Defective Dice. So you start doing lore videos, so little 15-minute long narrations about the characters in Malifaux, which is nice because I've often thought about starting Malifaux simply because I know there's a McCabe in Malifaux, which if people don't know, that's my surname. And I haven't seen a McCabe kicking around any other universe. So I want to do McCabe and his gang kicking the shit out of people. But beyond that, I don't know anything else except it's a weird Wild West type of affair. So without having to go and read a ton of stuff or dig into a ton of books or pick stuff up in advance to finding out whether or not I actually want to do it, these are the beginnings of a set of videos. So in fact, episode 4, I'm fairly certain wasn't there whenever I picked this afternoon. So he's just put episode 4 up.
No, it's from today.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and they're quite nice. While he talks, there's a montage of images from mostly tabletop. So I don't know whether it's his own complete collection or whether he's grabbed some from various places on Tinterwebs to put them together. But I thought if people are interested in Malifaux and don't know about it, the same sort of situation as myself, then probably a good place to start.
Yeah, it's a way to get another game known or into the backstory while painting stuff. And since we all have literally 0 time on our hands because we are working like crazy, more or less we need to find shortcuts in our life and hobby spaces.
Yes, very much so. And, you can always bimble along there and chuck him a subscription. Currently only 81 subscribers. So, probably
give him a follow.
Yeah, give him a follow and see what else he's planning on doing, because the lore videos, there's more. In fact, McCabe's up there as well. He put McCabe up a few days ago. So there's stuff that he hasn't put onto the project yet. So yeah.
Yeah, and it's an interesting way of making yourself heard in the broader audience without being too annoying by hijacking threads and forums and going, hey, this is my stuff, look at it.
Yeah. And he kept back to some Orc Commandos as well. So you can watch that while the rest of us are watching the Malifaux stuff.
That's very nice. Wait, why should I watch more Orcs?
I thought that was your job. Is that not your job?
Stop tempting me. On to the next.
Yep. See, I told you some were fast.
TT Combat by Marcus Lamb. He does terraced houses, an experiment of sorts. What does he experiment with?
Build, painting, a bit of modelling. So it goes for like a 1970s or 1980s house. We've got like the brick bottom and then the pebble dash stuccoed walls. So it's just general terrain bimbling. I know he wants to do the internal walls because he asked on one of my recent jerry cans, going, yeah, can you try and do some way of doing internal walls as well, especially on flat MDF kits, to try and add something to them.
That's probably Warren in disguise trying to make you a video on putting paint on walls and other wallpapers.
That's fine. Well, weirdly, I'm thinking about doing one on wallpapers. But thankfully I'm too far away to actually help on the 1-to-1 scale of Warren's house. Because they're on the other side of the country from me.
Speaking of, I'm really hoping Warren is taking care while working on electric wiring.
I'm sure he's fine. He can earth himself on a child, can't he? Isn't that how that works? You just make sure one of them's holding onto your trouser leg the whole time, and if Manny suddenly shoots across the room and impacts into the wall, then that was the wrong one to touch. But you have another couple of kids in reserve, so you're fine.
I told him he should make sure his wife would stand close with the broom, so when he starts shaking, she would have to whack him.
Hit him. Make sure it's a wooden one.
Yeah, of course. Don't use metal rods on those.
There's a great video of a lorry, I want to say somewhere in Asia, and it hit a power line, and the first guy to get out jumped down from the cab with one hand on the door, and when he hit the ground, he just went smoke, boom, and the other guy sort of bunny hopped out, tucked a little ball, and landed safely. It was amazing.
Yes,
so funny.
Warren was also asking on Discord for wiring help. That's why I'm so worried. So he's doing a real nice job on this MDF with the single painting of single stones.
Yeah, more hassle than I could be arsed. I hit them all with one color and then pick out, half dozen or so here and there. I know what you mean, James. I think they are 32, despite what they say, because their games like Carnivale and the like are 32. Do they do Carnivale? Pretty sure they do. Anyway, yeah, I think their games are the bigger scale. So while they say 28 mil, I think they're a bit bigger. At least it means you can get them in the doorways, which is a thing,
especially if you got models with boss models with larger bases. He's really doing a lot of experimenting before doing. I thought this would be more or less I do this for the first time, I'll just see what happens. But no, he's taking sorts of the of Mel's approach, the train tutor, when he does some studio experiments.
Well, there's two ways of doing it. You can fire and forget and then potentially have to throw a kit in the bin, or you can test it out on something scrap beforehand. And if you're trying something exciting and new, then probably it's not a bad idea to give it a go.
See, you already got a mention. I watched Jerry's video on Brickwall and thought, what the hell if Jerry can ...
I want to hear you pronounce the next couple of words.
Any Buck 8 must be able to.
So close. Buck Egypt. Like an idiot. They're an Egypt.
I'm not a Northern Irelander, nor am I native English speaker, so fuck you.
Don't worry. Pretty sure that's not English. Whatever way you take it.
I can't be asked. I can't be asked to think at the moment, to be honest. So don't do traps. Don't lay any words in my mouth that I could be wrong. As you just said, there's the method of going full ham, which I usually do, and then shout myself into why did you do this? But I usually don't throw these things away. They just get a makeover and then act as ruins.
That's one way of doing it.
Well, it's wood, it burns, so you can...
Very true. They're not supposed to be wood, though. That's supposed to be a brick building. Just because you can burn it doesn't mean you should burn it. But yeah, it's interesting to see where he's going to go. It's interesting to see what I'm going to do for internal walls. Who knows? Time will tell. Wattle and Daub. It's like the early Dublin builders joke. What'll it be, sir? What'll it be? Huh? My dad thinks I'm funny.
Oh, most dads do, even if they don't. Next up would be, oh my god! Oh, thank god it's not Friday the 13th.
That's true.
Don't Look Back, Chaos Corker. That name hasn't been on the show for a long time.
A long time.
So, Don't Look Back is an actual game and not just the title of this project.
Yes, but I can't hear it without thinking of a completely different game, which I have on my shelf, because there was a 1990s RPG called Don't Look Back, Terrors Never Far Behind. And the first supplement was Giant Psychic Insects from Outer Space.
It came 43rd.
But yeah, Don't Look Back is essentially a game of slasher horror on the tabletop, and I do like the models they've done for it. I mean, Mr. Shatner there is looking particularly well.
Why do you call him Mr. Shatner?
Because Michael Myers' mask is a Shatner Captain Kirk mask that's been painted with latex paint to remove some of the definition from it.
Oh, right. I was mentally with Jason with a hockey mask.
Kill.
See, this is what happens if you do only work.
Yep. I always
remember the
prime mine
packaging
Arloyd.
of this game. That is really nice.
It's very. I mean, there's a few people doing it these days. Hydrophilia from whoever they are, Artel, going for that videotape packaging. So obviously, it's become a thing. 80s retro is.
Yeah, it's become a staple of some games, but I think only a few really managed to get to look it right.
It has to make sense. I think they've gone for plastic, like a Mantic case, which is good, and then Artel have gone for the classic American cardboard ones.
Yeah, this actually looks like a VHS tape with a beaten up insert.
Yeah,
and not just a brand new paper carton, which is more or less like, wait, we have this new feature. Here he is. Yeah,
I love that box. Just so they can go, there's your tape with, not pro. They've even done the fucking back of it. Bad bastards.
Do you have to rewind it before playing?
No miniatures inside. No miniatures inside. They're all next door.
Unpainted.
I want to paint them up at some point. I'm not going to, but I want to. But I'm not going to. You're not the boss of me, right, Darcy from Kildare? Anyway, yeah. It'll be interesting to see what else is there, because Mickey was done there at the end of November. The scatter trains dropped down recently. I'm hoping to see some survivors and stuff soon.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And it is the year and the season for horror games. It's dark, it's cold, it's rainy. What else do you do than play horror games? Oh, speaking of horror games, did you see that Evil Dead gets a computer game?
No.
Yes.
Why?
Money?
Oh, yeah. That makes sense. When you put it like that, that makes total sense.
Next up is 13 Days for Christmas. Doctor Who.
Yes.
Who?
No. I'm not sure who the last 6 are, because I only really count Doctors up until McCoy.
Well,
but
I hate
presumably that's things that no, it's the same as GW. They retconned the shit out of it.
The 3 in the middle I have seen. This dude I have seen. That one was in the movies, and I'm pretty sure I've seen this one. These two farther and back in time when I was younger on German television.
Another one right in the middle, because he's Malcolm Tucker, who swears like a trooper. Come the fuck in or fuck the fuck off, being one of my favourite lines from Malcolm Tucker. Only with a Scottish accent. Come the fuck in or fuck the fuck off, you wanker. Anyway, but yeah, so hammering through the 13, I believe it's Gale Force 9 game. Yeah.
According to the box, it's Gale Force 9.
Yeah, because there are 2.
Yeah,
depending on.
I was just about to ask that. There was the other one was by
Warlord.
Oh yes. Okay.
This is what happens when one company sells licenses for 2 different places.
I think we touched on that subject before 1 or 2 times. Yes, Dutch, there is a 14th Doctor now, but this game is older.
I know Paul McGann was the replacement for McCoy, I don't really count him because he was just a spin-off TV Pretty Boy movie thing, which is a shame because I love Withnail now. I don't mind him as an actor. I just don't think he was the Doctor. McCoy, surprisingly, was a better Doctor in that, where he was handing over, than he was during most of his things, although I still like Curse of Fenric as one of my favourite storylines. But that was the last time you had storylines where you could have a series where there'd be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 episodes making up an overarching storyline, and now they're all like shit one-shot things, and then at the end they throw the master in to go, oh, it was all tied together even though you didn't see me. That's wank. Fucking tell stories.
Do you know
Cats.
the parody where Rowan Atkinson acts as a Time Lord?
Yes, the comic relief Blackadder special. Blackadder Back and Forth, I believe it's called.
I love that one.
Yeah, so Harry Brains has been hammering through, painting up all the stuff for his board game. And he's done a remarkable job.
I love the miniatures there, so...
Look, he's even got his flute.
So many different poses and so much character in each.
That's mostly down to, I'm going to say, the makeup / wardrobe department at the BBC, because they always went out of their way to come up with a distinctive look, and then they didn't really let the Doctor change it in between. I think Peter Davidson managed to change outfits a couple of times, and Pertwee had a variety of velvet suits and cloaks, but most of the rest of them were, whatever you seen them in, that was them for the entire time. Weirdly, Davidson's cricket bat, he only had that in the first episode, I think, and then they went, it's too much like a weapon, we can't let him wander about with that because the Doctor doesn't use weapons, so then they took his cricket bat away.
What a shame.
No.
Yeah, and the colors are obviously bright.
Oh yeah, horrendously garish. It's enough to make you nauseous.
Oh, this almost looks like the Riddler.
Yeah, it's Sylvester McCoy, everybody's favourite wizard / Hitler impersonator from The Road to El Dorado. There's Paul McGann. See, too pretty to be a doctor, Paul. Too pretty. I mean, just, we're not doing it. It's not happening.
I think this one has the least resemblance with the actor behind him.
Any of these, I mean, they're Bernie Ecclestone or any of the rest, I don't care. They're not, like I said, not real people.
You're very harsh.
I am very harsh, because Doctor Who had a very definite cut-off point. You have X number of regenerations, and then that's you fucked. And there was a fan theory that the Master was the Doctor's last regeneration, where he was just fucking mental.
And going mental on himself.
Whereas, and I don't know at what point they did it, it was one of the new ones, they did this whole thing going, nah, he's special Time Lord and has infinite regenerations, which at that point, none of the self-sacrifices that the Doctor did in any of the previous series going back to fucking grandfather make a blind bit of difference.
I think it was the second before last where they started.
Yeah, if it's not a issue, if you can regenerate fucking infinitely, then where's the self-sacrifice at that point? May as well just go and start pushing humans into volcanoes, because fuck it, why not?
Well, you could argue that he didn't know before, and then therefore he was actually thinking that it would be a finite number of. But then again, we're at this point again of a discussion where it's simply coming down to the BBC makes money off Doctor Who.
Yeah. That's it.
Reruns only make so much money. Yeah, so Chad also seems to have a very strong opinion upon the Doctor and his reincarnations. And to you viewers on YouTube, I say, shame you're not here on our live stream on Twitch because you can't read the chat.
Yeah,
shame.
They're all calling you cunts in the chat as well.
Yeah.
YouTube. And I agree with them. Oh, wow.
Leeches.
I wouldn't have said that about them. Terrible.
Bad words. Next project. Chaos Corker.
Yes, because we've not seen him in literally a
Chaos
project.
Gorgon by Wayne, what? Wayne
Sorry.
0200 or whatever.
What? You
make
mean
up your
this?
mind.
This isn't just a self-portrait of Chaos Corker, then?
Well, he would be a handsome violet, whatever.
Giant cow thing. Four-armed giant cow thing.
Centaur with extra arms.
This is one of. It's when GW were trying to make people play Beastmen, and they've released a giant kit for the Beastmen, and then they released the rules for it. I was like, in no way did the rules match that. Why the fuck? Beastmen are still unplayable, GW. And then they killed the world. Maybe that's why they killed the world off. Maybe it was because people just laughed at their attempt to make Beastmen viable instead of giving them fucking decent rules.
This is a GW model.
I want to call it this. It's like it's a multi-kit, so it's a Gorgon or a Cygor or something else. It makes 3 different things. It was one of the first ones they did that had multiple variations in it.
I always
No, this predates the Cow Elves by, I don't know, 15 years, 16, maybe more.
I thought I would instantly recognize any GW miniature that's out there on the planet, but this I wouldn't have put within GW for whatever reason.
I quite like it.
Yeah, it's different, it's aggressive, and
it still suffers from the same problem that their ghouls do, which is their hair is stiff enough to hold skeletons upright, which makes no fucking sense to man or beast. But I like what they've done. The purple color is different. Presumably that is to go for a Slaneshi styly warband, or maybe just really like purple. I don't know.
I like the basing he's done.
Base has been done via the medium of, I think, green stuff and milliput, and one of those rollers or presses.
Yeah, but all this little rubble, which I presume is either cork pieces.
No, I think it's layers of milliput. Building a base, layers of insulation formed for the steps. There we go.
Rubble,
and then green stuff and milliput over the top.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's nice to get a bit of height, because you need a bit of height when you've got a model that's only that big.
Yeah, you
also
need to have some point of view.
I'm fairly certain that does he say where the statue comes from? I think the statue comes from one of the Storm of Magic kits that they've released and isn't meant to be in the hand of that beast. I think it's just hand is open. I know there were some hands throwing rocks and stuff.
Where is it?
But it's quite nice anyway, because I just like the idea of somebody being beaten to death with a...
just says painting the statue.
It may be that the statue was an option, but I didn't think it was. But who knows? Regardless, beating somebody to death with a statue of Sigmar is always good for fun.
Yes, very nice. And I like in the newer pictures where he's starting with the horns and the skull. There's some nice things. I'm now getting my echo again. Did you change anything?
No.
Oh god. Computers, you make me sick. Well, this is really something. Obviously, GW, now I look at it with all the skulls, but then again, Beastman. Would be nice to see a 28mm figure next to it, to actually scale it. But seeing the paint pots in the background, I think I can guess.
Small and far away.
Let's do this again, father. Small, far away. Still don't get it. Yes, James, slight echo. I don't know where this comes from. We hadn't had echo at the start of the show, so I'm guessing Skype is fucking up things again.
That's how the magic happens.
And we can't hear. I can't do anything in. But I like with that. If you say all errors are human made, yes, because all software is human made. So all errors in software are human made, but they're not made by me. That's the major Major point here. I didn't do anything wrong. I'm saying. Next. Ulverbite. Does Path to Conquest to the Directorate. This is the lovely miniature you've built also, if I remember correctly.
That is the starter set contents. So, big abomination at the back, Brits, clones, and then Biomancer that isn't in my set. So I imagine at some point it was removed for something, possibly a John tutorial or something, but it's not in my army, so I don't care. It's one less miniature to paint. Actually, two less because John took one to do a painting tutorial with as well. So, winner.
You should be near your finishing stretch now with these two, shouldn't you?
It should be, yeah.
This is
time will tell.
This is a from grey plastic to painted miniature in just one simple step.
That's the way to do it. I quite like that he's done something different. So he's picked an easier color scheme to do than I did, mind you. Clever bastard. But again, it's not just the bone armor with blue. He's gone for a different set of contrasting colors in the sort of greens and reds.
And he's actually playing with violet and reddish tones as well. So he obviously knows how to handle paints, judging by the object source lighting he's done on this one.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to see what else we see from him in the future. Who knows? But this obviously is just the start of his spires for Path of Conquest, so I quite like them.
And I think Lloyd would give this project purely on the basis of gigantic in-focus pictures a gold button.
They don't need to be in focus, they just need to be huge.
But being in focus is a bonus, I think.
Yeah.
When it comes to Lloyd.
I've got a machine that increases the size of pictures. So I feel like just dropping some in there, the equivalent of posters. And by posters, I mean the ones you get on billboards at the side of the road, not the ones you put on your walls. Just so he has to open one up, and all of a sudden he's left with an out of focus eye bigger than the screen, and has to try and scroll around desperately to see where anything is until he gives up. Just goes back to the small picture
button.
Exactly.
This is a nice one. I'm hoping he continues his project past the Path to Conquest.
Yeah.
What do you call it? Action plan?
Slow Grow League.
Slow Grow League.
That's what I'm calling it. Every time it looks like it's accelerating, it slows down again.
Wayne 0200. We had him just before. He does walk, cries, walks.
But
that's
like
terrain. That. Lovely terrain.
It is lovely terrain. It's not just terrain. We do have a couple of just terrain ones today, but this one is I think it's the box set or the standard box, because I'm fairly certain the iron golems are part of the box. Don't know about the beasties, but I think this is essentially the core set. Yeah,
and he says he only started painting because news of a new core set came out. I know that feeling.
There you go. There's a great motivation tool for you. Paint what you have, otherwise you won't be able to buy the next one. But yeah, it's a nice collection, both terrain and tiny fighting men. I quite like the moss on the terrain as well. Personally, if I was basing the stuff, because there's a lot of stones and that sort of shit, I would have the same sort of flock that he's got on the wooden steps and on the runes on their base, just to tie them to the terrain, because the terrain is specifically for them. Otherwise, the fact that it's all green grassy and then the other guys have got very different styles looks a bit odd. If I'm doing a starter set that is going to be one side against the other with the terrain. I would try and keep it cohesive across them all. But maybe his plans beyond
Yeah, the Untamed
Warcry and
Beast.
expanding it.
The Untamed Beast looked like he went for a snowish base.
Could be snow or could be desert, like some sort of cracked earth type of whatever way it's parched.
Maybe he wants to play Frostgrave with them.
That could work too.
Which is a game that's reoccurring in the news more and more currently. At least that's my impression.
It's because a new couple of books are just coming out.
And Official Terrain.
Official Terrain's been out for a little while from Cromlech. Thankfully, notice there's not a fucking wall behind me and stuff.
Yeah, I can't see your paint booth either, so I'm guessing you're more or less done with it.
Two nights last week, I was up till 2 a.m. getting stuff finished off so we could go and film to get it out of the way because it needed to be done for last week, so it could be edited for next week.
So you're going to be sleeping in on a let's play.
Pretty well, you know. I glaze over at one point when Justin asks me a question and it fries my head. I can't work out what he's talking about, and I go with it for like a turn, and then I'm going, hang on a minute, no, this is entirely wrong. Why are we doing this? Why have you
talked me into?
Why? Yeah, exactly. I literally just go, no, I was right. That's not how damage is done. Just no, this is it. And then for the rest of the game, you think he was the one who was asleep because every damage roll was the same thing. Where he goes 7 damage. No, that's not how damage works. Damage works like this. Okay, next roll. So that'd be 9 then. No, that'd be 19. No.
Yeah,
focus.
It's
one of us had sleep, one of us didn't.
2020 is taking a toll on all of us. The Monday that never ends. Next up then, Core 8-Ball does Droids.
Droids, look sir, Droids. This is the start of something, so there's not much to see here yet.
On a Walking Dead game in the Star Wars universe.
Yes, so interesting for 2 reasons. Reason the first, Walking Dead is probably the best game out there. And reason the second, he's broke out the Wizards of the Cock D20 pre-paints and has made his own Star Wars. So I want to see more because The Walking Dead can be played as a solo game. So he can essentially have little solo games of Star Wars, which is fucking genius. Interested to see how he's doing it because obviously droids can shoot and walkers can't. So has he woven that in? This is mostly just one for me to follow along and go, oh look, this is quite nice. Look at the Star Warsy bits he's done. But I'm keen to see where he goes and how things appear. That looks like Michonne. Might actually be her.
Replacing walkers with damaged, out-of-control droids. Well, I'm guessing he simply then says, okay, they're not armed, they simply walk around and strangle people.
Yeah, maybe. Or if you want to... There's no reason why you couldn't add a mechanic for them firing because they move towards the closest sound. Therefore, if they have even a limited range, they could move towards the closest sound, and if they get in range, shoot, and if they get close enough, punch. So, adding in that, now obviously then you'd have to play test to see having walkers with ranged attacks changes things. But I think it's fantastic. I think it's really interesting that he's decided to do it. And I'm hoping we'll get a few more playtests and then like a written set of rules, which is funny because somebody's been pestering me for my written set of rules for Orcs Drift, which I really need to do this week. Hello, the dice.
Hello, the dice. Welcome to stream. So, before I write any more, next up is Russian previews brew. What the hell?
Yeah, this is good because I know they've sent one of these to us, and I'm not opening it until January. Fuck them. And even if it did get open before then, so it's just curious.
So it's meant literally. It's the Russian forces for Dystopian Wars.
Yeah. But the most interesting thing for me, because I know some people have played Dystopian Wars, is that's not resin. It's a multi-part plastic sprue.
It looks like it, yes.
Mm. No, it isn't. That's it there. See, that's a sprue. Boom.
Commonwealth cruiser and frigate.
So presumably then, Dystopian Wars is about to get a buff.
Martin's UK.
I imagine this is going to be the first big release for it, Pete. What they did was they had 2 or 3 games from whoever the fuck made Dystopian Wars when they bought them. And they've gone, okay, rather than each of these games being a different universe and disparate and unto itself, they've gone, okay, Wild West Exodus, Dystopian Wars, something or other, bloody blah. The other 2 games, they've gone, okay, it's all one world, one universe at the same time. So it sort of pulls things in. Now, how much of a difference that will make going forward as far as actually supporting the games is another matter. But I suppose if people are going, well, I'm playing the skirmish game and then I can get a fleet or I can play a game with it, it's a bit more cohesive than going, I play Wild West Exodus, and then there's a ship game that's based on a completely different Earth, not the Earth from Wild West Exodus. So maybe it's a bit easier for them to plan out things and for them to maintain some sort of cohesive narrative going forward, where they're just going, it's all one Earth, and we're not having to spend time telling a writer,
you need
write
only one
for
story
this.
writer and not 3 or 4.
Yeah. So
I really love the designs. But for some weird reason, they remind me a bit of orcs, but that may just
everything reminds you of orcs.
Yes, that's true. There's no denying. Even orcs remind me of orcs. I can't be helped.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see. I mean, who knows? Someday I may open the box in the studio. I won't. But
maybe somebody
interesting to see where they go. Oh, don't need to. This guy's done that. If they ever go, if you could open that box, I'd just go, look, there's a project. He's even measured them and everything. Boom.
Orcs,
boom, shankalanga.
Orcs are the best. Orcs. Just saying. Next up then is Berger 15, doing the Mandalorian and Child. So this is obviously not a FFG model, because currently that's not available.
Also, he has it. That's how you know it's not an FFG model.
Today FFG released release dates for 2 new expansions of Star Wars Legion. One being Lando Calrissian and one being that Inquisitor dude, which name escapes me totally. And seemingly a new mechanic. With
I haven't seen the mechanic bit.
Yeah, they've got
Grimwolf pinged it earlier.
Extra card for some weird reasons, which I haven't read up, and colors. Yes, thank you. And Lando Calrissian can use his command cards as sort of backup plan if Chewie and Han Solo are on his side. So if you make your command deck with Chewie and Han Solo cards and one of them is killed, you usually remove those command cards. But you've got Lando on your hand. Lando has options.
Right, like steel wardrobe, that type of thing.
It's interesting.
Yeah. We still haven't seen anything new from Atomic Mass, though. These were all because Lando was previewed by FFG previously, wasn't he? As was the thing. So this is still there. This is just AMG now releasing the final bits and pieces that Atomic Mass had already said.
The latest thing, Atomic Mass was saying that they would be looking into organized play.
Yeah.
So we're seeing
no rush on that. It's not like anybody's allowed out.
2022, maybe, if you're lucky. And we're not all growing fourth arms because of the vaccine. Something like that. Yes.
Oh, is it
capes.
Callus? Oh, that's nice, because he's
Agent
got those
Callus.
fantastic mutton chop sideburns.
And Lando Calrissian comes with 2 different capes. So you can have a
It's
long
not real
cape.
Lando, though, is it? It's shit solo Lando, isn't it?
Yes and no. If you look at the artwork, it's Lando Calrissian. If you look
Right.
at the miniature, it's
shit
not
solo
really.
Lando.
But same goes for
Billy
for Han
D.
Solo.
Oh man, could you imagine if they released? I can't remember the fucker's name. Could you imagine if they released Han Solo using that other actor as the solo model instead of Harrison Ford? Could you fucking imagine it?
Oh,
Could you?
I could. I don't want to
Would
go
that
that
it were? Would
The-
that it were?
The uproar.
Fuck him. If it's going to be fucking Lando, then it's Billy D. Williams. Hashtag not my Lando.
We will see. So going back to Burger 15's project, he has
Yes.
painted himself a Mandalorian in the shiny armor and Grogu.
Yep, Baby Yoda. That's true.
I'm not going to call him Baby Yoda. Not
Baby
happening.
Yoda.
It's either Grogu or the child, but not Baby Yoda.
His name is Baby Yoda.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. You're not the boss of me, right, Darcy from Kildare?
But he's done a interesting paint scheme because most people now go for the chrome-looking Mandalorian.
Yeah.
And he's chosen to take the Season 1, Episode 1 ragtag look.
I think it's more interesting to paint, but also I'm not sure. I'd have to compare the 2 armor sets, because clearly, based on the photo above, it looks like it's based on the original.
Yeah, that's.
I don't know if he replaced everything with just shiny versions with the exact same look.
Yes, he got in every time he managed to land a great coup and got enough money and Beskar, the Forge Smith made him new shiny armor.
Yes, I know that, but do they look identical to the shit one? Is it like you've just bought a new car and it's a Porsche, but it looks exactly like your Ford Capri, but it's a Porsche, but it's shiny? But it's
I think yes, but I wouldn't know. Ralph says yes, and he has an eye for that, so we're going with yes. It's simply shiny and new.
So it's just color change. It doesn't actually matter what way you choose to paint it.
Yeah, so
because the gear underneath is the same.
Shape is the same and it works the same, but his current set of armor is brand spanking new. Without, it's more like a DeLorean. It doesn't need paint.
You say that, but I'm looking at a picture of dull shiny Beskar and Durasteel, and they're not the same. So, swing and a miss.
Well, I blame Ralph. I'm going to do a talk to him, a stern talking on Sunday when we do the last episode of the Imperial Interlude.
In which case, yes, that is the episode 1 armor that he's painted up. That's what he's wearing, because there's noticeably a different change to the breastplate when he's in the Beskar.
So, as always, Jerry is
which
right.
means you need to buy 2 now, because presumably there will be a different one with a slightly different set of armor to paint it shiny.
Yeah, very, very much so.
Then how long before Baby Yoda goes Darth Baby Yoda? Because he's fucking force choking the shit out of everybody at the moment.
Yeah, but he's not stepping over the bounds, and Disney won't have a child.
Only because he keeps collapsing from fatigue. If he could keep his eyes open long enough, he'd have fucking choked out half that ship by now.
He probably would. Children, when they get in range, are the worst. Take this from a father. When they start to throw a tantrum.
But I really like it. I really like the paint job. Is great.
It's something different than all the shiny ones, and
I think it's just visually more interesting.
Yeah. And it looks more alive. to put it that way. Though Baby Yoda is a bit too much on the green side on his cloak, but that's a miniature that's about, what, a centimeter tall.
Yeah, probably if even.
That's a 28mm base. We can see the cutting mat underneath, which is probably centimeter squares,
Yeah.
so that's tiny. Then
It's true, he was eating those frog eggs like there were no tomorrow. It was fucking amazing.
Yeah, caviar.
Bloop,
He
bloop,
knows
bloop.
his shit.
Just every time you turn around, there was another one going. Bloop. It's like, why were people confused that was going to happen, considering he was already hammering frogs and everything else he could fucking lay his hands on?
Exactly, and he didn't
Squids.
even chew on them.
No, down in one.
Gulp down and gone.
The answer to does Baby Yoda spit or swallow? Didn't even touch the sides. See why Mando's so annoyed that he's been taken away from him? It gets lonely. It gets lonely in the void. Just saying.
In the dark, nobody hears you scream or something like that. Oh god. Next project, please. Reichland Reavers by Taochi. So this is the not current, but the team before, which basically is the current set minus the star players.
Yes, you don't get your drift. Well, you can still. I mean, you can. Human team's a human team.
Yeah, it's exactly the same.
You know, you go nuts. I think the new set has a different aesthetic to it, doesn't it? Did they not add more feathers and stuff?
Oh yes, you're right. I think the orcs are more or less the same, but the human team is a new one. My bad.
That's all right. I forgive you.
That's why.
Did you not win one of those off us? Huh?
No, not yet.
Fucking everything else.
Not yet. I want to win that Luke Skywalker.
Oh, wouldn't that be so funny?
I told my wife when I got mail about the Age of Sigmar box that now that there is the possibility of winning that Luke Skywalker box, there wouldn't be no chance in hell that I would actually get it, but because even if I would, by some weird
so many sock puppets. Huh?
I can't help it. No.
So many sock puppet accounts.
Panzer Kaput, yes, if anybody else, you or maybe my co-host from the Imperial Interlude Sunday show.
Be a rectangular thing. Yeah, really nice set. This isn't, is it? There may be another project later from Tucci as well. Or I suppose it's Dao G, because it's not pronounced Dao rather than Tio. Anyway.
So he's color blocking skins and bits.
Color blocking and washing everything. That's how you paint things, they tell me. And, you know, it does the job rightly. That's how you get a team hammered out there, move on.
Oh, look, he's one of these weirdos who was rebottling his paints.
Is he?
Yes.
Where's that then? I don't even know what one you're at. Oh, the blue one in the watercolor box.
This label clearly says Games Workshop.
Yeah.
But that's
considering the others are still in the terrible Games Workshop pots, perhaps that workshop pot exploded. And he had to move it into another one.
The lid broke off.
That type of thing. But it's nice.
He's working them away like a champ. And he's doing a nice paint job. It's a bit too ultramarine-y for my taste, but
well, you know, fancy football. Gotta be poppy. People have to see you on the pitch.
Needs more blood.
Don't want to hide. What I used to do, because sad man that I was, used to flock the bases and then paint the white lines on the base for Blood Bowl, so you could see like pitch markings and stuff. It also meant whenever I was putting people out, I knew where to put them roughly. You know, Skaven runners with a white line on the left-hand side obviously went in the wide zone on the left, and then just fucking haired off like whippets.
Not commenting on whether I done that or not.
Yeah, it's a nice set. I like it. Poppy fantasy football.
Flashy.
Mm.
Now do the orc team.
Well, that's what I'm hoping for. We've got one. He's moved on, did the tokens and the like as well. So I imagine we'll be seeing the orcs. I mean, the final detailing on it, because some of that is obviously transfers, but I think some of it's hand painted as well. The little reaver heads are very nice, or maybe they are transfers. I don't know. He's just painted blue over some of them to make them look chipped.
I can't remember if there were transfers within the box. I think not.
In the old days, they used to give you transfers so you could put numbers on. That looks like a transfer. So I can see silvering on it. I should just paint saltaires on everybody and make them all Scottish. Oh! Sorry, just when I see a diagonal white line across there, I'm just thinking, fucking opportunity missed.
Well, the one on the left has it, but it's out of shot. Yep.
It's got a full Scottish.
There. More or less.
More or less. Get in there. Oh, flower of Scotland, when will we see?
This is BBC One.
Apparently, every other word in that is wankers or bastards.
Or
at least that's how I was taught.
Shut up, you cunt!
I'm really excited about seeing the new set, to be honest, even though it's not really anything new. At least from what I can tell from afar. I really want to have a look into the rulebook. But I think I need to wait for that to arrive in my local Games Workshop shop. And for that, I have to wait for the next 4 weeks until they are allowed to be opened again. Because, as of tomorrow, we are in lockdown.
Could be worse. Our government's decided we have to go back into lockdown, but they've also realised that telling people to do it now won't happen. So they've actually said it could be as early as 2nd of January, i.e. we're going to let you do Christmas and New Year's and spread it as much as you can, and then we're going to lock down.
Oh, our government is even better.
Fucking amazing.
Lockdown is tomorrow.
Good.
Exemptions are made for the 24th to the 26th for families to join. And then it's lockdown again.
Oh, that's known that you can't transmit stuff to your family. To be fair, they're right. I mean, on not one occasion have any member of my family caught any sexually transmitted disease off me. So, so if you extrapolate that to all diseases, it makes sense.
It's just, this stupidity.
I'm not surprised.
No, neither am I. The worst thing is that if you see when Chancellor Merkel took her latest speech, you actually saw her being the scientist that she is, that she really wanted a full lockdown. And everybody else was going, no, we can't. Think of commerce. People need to get presents.
Isn't that what Amazon's for? Amazon workers, I'm fairly certain, are also immune. Otherwise,
of course.
How would it be going?
And the virus will take the holidays off, as we all know, because it's a reasonable virus.
That is true.
Yeah.
Good guy virus.
Next project, please. Dogs to the train. Duck the fuck. Oh, hello, Duck. Long time no see.
You've jumped one, you cheeky banks.
I did? Did I miss one?
Apparently.
Painting the Reichland Reavers, and then?
If you click on the link that's disappearing in the chat.
This one? Dirty. Ooh, shiny.
This is just because Steve's here. It was in the running order, honestly.
Very, very much possible. I have to look it up. Hold your horses.
That's right.
Yes, it is. I managed to not click it for some reason.
See.
Yes.
Lord of Skalak.
Where do we put him? This is there. Then he needs to go.
He just
there.
squeezes in there between
Yes.
Dog's Dinner and Baby Yoda.
Marshalling Uzulak. Hold on, Uzulak.
He is
Chaos
marshalling
Dwarf.
15mm Chaos Dwarves.
I now really need a choir going hallelujah.
It's not just that it's 15mm, it's fucking Chaos Dwarves. Madness. Fucking madness. The only reason they're still dwarves is their hats are so big they weigh them down. They're all stunted because of it. But this is great. He's hammering out a 15mm army because for some unknown reason somebody persuaded him that irregular wars, fantastic battles was the way to go.
And he's doing weird octagonal bases, or is that just for painting purposes?
I think that's just what they were stuck to when he was ranking them up for something. I don't know why they're still on them, or perhaps he just had to clip them. You know, they were based and he's clipped the base down because they will be remounted for 40 mils.
This is a useless size comparison if I ever saw one recently.
No, it's a great size comparison. And it's not just a size comparison. He's using 28mm orcs as ogres for his 15mm army. Fucking genius.
Which reminds me of something Mel, the terrain tutor, once said. There's no scale on trees. You make a tree. It's either a small tree or a big tree. It all depends on your miniatures.
That is true. I wholeheartedly believe and run with that. And people go, those trees are awfully big for 15mm. I go, are they? Because I can walk outside my front door and see a tree that fucking size.
Yeah, and even if you wouldn't have them in front of your own backyard, you could go on Google Maps and go, see, these are some fucking large trees there.
I'd like to introduce you to the Scots pine. It's not exactly 2 foot tall.
I love the detailing he's done on the shields.
Yeah, the fact that he's looked at the shields and went, you know what, these shields are a bit flat and plain. You know, it'd be better if I made a fucking, I was going to say a rim job for them. Yeah. Sorry, Will. If I just do that, just to peak them, just to do a wee bit of detailing for the 15 to stand them out more. The hobgobs as well. Doesn't even need to be as big as a redwood. Scots pines are fucking amazingly big. There's somebody else later on who also makes wings, and if it hadn't been for the other guy making wings, this would have got my best wings of the week nomination, which is obviously something we do all the time. Totally.
Oh, here's your next Jerry can do wings and feathers.
No, fucking won't.
Well, it can't be as bad as snow, can it?
I don't know. I thought snow was concise, to the point. Not a lot of fucking around.
It was very
comprehensive.
It was in a nutshell. And still very much teaching all you need to know.
So, not a huge amount of painting in here, but obviously an awful lot going on with just the conversion work and getting stuff ready to paint. But I like that. But after the Ogre's work in progress, we start heading some of the meat and potatoes, which is he's got his hands on fantastic battles and has started making an army list. So if you want to know what goes into an army, that's a Blood Bowl orc. If you want to know what goes into an army for fantastic battles, and it's worth pointing out, fantastic is scale agnostic. Everything is based on base widths. So if you want to play it in 6mm, you can. If you want to play it in 28mm, you can, or 32 or 40 or whatever the fuck they go up to these days. You can quite happily go with any of those. So it's solely down to you. Yeah. Yeah, he's building his hobgoblin / chaos dwarf army.
I love the facial reconstruction he has done with all the noses.
That's how you can tell they're ogres and not just 28mm orcs from the days of being hit in the face with a shovel. They look good. You have to admit they look fucking good.
Yes, they do.
He knows what he's doing.
Honestly, astounded what he's done on such a small scale. What the hell are these?
Those are some form of automaton type thing. Don't know what they are, because I don't think they had anything that was construct-like in the original Castle Wars.
In 15mm.
I could find out because the Chaos Dwarf book is just over there, but it's behind Kylo Ren action figure, and I'm not moving it. So we'll just have to guess whether or not I can remember if there was a Colossus in the original. I'm pretty sure there wasn't. Anyway, so built his army list for fantastic battles and is getting stuck in, coming dangerously close to the about to start painting phase.
Which is always the point most projects somehow feel.
They were originally going to be Kadai Fireborn. There we go. So that makes sense.
And now they are going to be Colossi.
Which weren't in the original, which is weird because everything else is very classic Chaos Dwarf, but the Kadai were Tamarkan, new Chaos Dwarf. But yeah, I really like it. I'm definitely going to be keeping an eye on that to see how his army pans out. I was looking at my 10mm stuff recently.
I'm really
for fantastic battles.
I'm curious on how he's going to do the goblins and wolf riders, because on such a small scale, he can't simply use Warhammer Fantasy Battles, so he needs to take something different.
No, but I mean, GW never did 15mm Chaos Dwarves, so those are from a different company, so they may be Hobgoblin Wolf Riders already. The fact that he's got Hobgoblin Spear in there, so. Now, he doesn't look like he pouts or cries there. Don't know if you're always very shiny. So it doesn't look pout or crying there, but in reference to your question, he does look like he's pouting there.
Yes, a bit.
So yes, in some respects, yes, he does pout and cry.
Emu Darth action figure.
So yes, Lord, well done, you.
Yes. Now paint like there's no tomorrow, because for all we know, there may be no tomorrow. And when you step before your maker, you will be judged upon the amount of plastic and metal you've painted.
Tatty by Grim. Did Monolith do something in 10mm? I thought, is Monolith Conan not a board game? The bigger size? Sure, we'll get a thing come back on that anyway.
One of these days, I need to get myself something in a small scale, simply to torture myself painting something that's smaller than 32, 28mm.
Definitely. Go nuts.
And then I'm going to throw it at the wall live on air.
That last bit seems excessive. I wouldn't do that.
Yes. So now we are getting to Dr. Park?
Yes. Doug has taken a break from painting everything to building all the terrain and then painting it.
By the means of recycling.
It's a dog's dinner for a reason, because he's broke out what appears to be a pouch pack of pedigree outer box to make his walls, and I don't know where the laser cut thing came from, if it was actually meant to be a base originally or if it's two offcuts. They could be stairs for something. They have a very side of the stairs where the stairs would, the runners would go across.
The MDF base is made from the stepped sides of a paint pot stand I didn't like.
Oh, there you go. Fucking genius. Could put paint pots on these. I decided I'm going to use it for fucking terrain instead. Genius. And it is one of the, this is something everybody can do, and most people at some point in their past have.
Most definitely.
Possibly kids today may not be aware of this, but this was the go-to standard that I'm sure pretty much everybody lurking in the chat has at some point done. Coffee stirrers are exciting and new. Whenever I was a lad, that was not an option. Lollipop sticks was. Coffee stirrers didn't exist.
And thick cartons from cat dry food and such things made a good replacement for plastic card.
Break out the Weetabix. Things like that. Or balsa wood. The
only thing is you needed to really watch out to not make too much of a mess of it when you're applying too much paint. Or otherwise you end up with a large glob of paper mache.
Well, it's one way of doing it. Anyway,
I like...
A fire has been lit, so to speak, although I don't actually think he just flamed it. I think he just broke out a black spray can and went across it, which means he can have that sort of split apart or together. I am a fan.
Yes, this is looking the part, and it's a one of these runes you actually can use in the game because it's playable in.
Yeah, there's not so much crap heaped on the floor.
No, nothing distracting like
like
tables and other things standing in the way.
So much kitty litter representing the roof and collapsed walls that no man may walk in that. So yeah, it's nice to see Doug going, I'll give you all a chance to catch up. I'm just going to build myself some terrain this week.
And will we catch up?
No, we won't. No. By the time we've read this, he's already banged out another warband, I guarantee you.
Oh, and did you see what game it's related to?
Did I? Oh well, it might be Saga.
He said Saga.
Possibly.
Related game, Saga, related genre, general. I'm switching my Saga jingle from Saga going to Saga, for example. If I can find any excerpts from the Weekender.
There may be one or two kicking around there. It's whether or not we're all talking over each other whenever you get it.
Or Ben bursts out laughing because one of you again said Saga, for example.
It's a great example. What can I say?
I think the best sound sample to use for that actually would be Ben saying, well, take Saga, for example. Well, next one then is Lockdown Heaven. I know that's a lie. Wazarov is doing things I could do, but have chosen not to.
Well, it's a way to go.
So this is the Indomitus box.
It is. Started assembling it about 3 weeks ago. And this is the first jump back into the hobby that Waz has done in a few years. And I'm hoping, via the medium of people giving gentle nudges, persuasion, that we get an update, because saying everything's put together, some of it's painted, planning on doing a couple of, full army shots, which is great. Want to see those. I also want to see the Necrons that you put together backwards, which apparently are in there. Some of them, as you put it, the builds were more complicated than the old 6th edition army was, and as such, a few of them have their legs on back to front, but you don't really notice. And I just like to imagine that that's a Necron who's starting to self-assemble and has done a bad job of it. Got its legs blown off, stuck it back on, can't work out why the kneecaps are facing the wrong way. So yeah, it's just a little.
I'm trying to make them out, but I can't.
No, I'll hang on for the next one, for the next update.
I think I see. Not the foot soldiers, but the big ones in the back. Those.
I'm going to say Blade Guard, because who fucking knows what their names are.
Because I remember when I assembled mine, those actually are the only parts in that kit that can be accidentally swapped. Everything else on the Necron fits only in one direction.
Oh, right. In that case, who's going to notice? But it's nice. I mean, we're looking at it from a distance, which is the best way to take photographs.
From far away.
But it looks like a two-tone metallic scheme.
Yeah, it's a gold and
silver and gold. Yeah. Now, I don't know if that's a thing that Necrons do much. It's certainly not one I see often. Normally, they get a touch of one metallic and then generally a big fuck-off green and blue. Rust. So, yeah, I never understood the rust thing. I'd be concerned if my mechanical body that's practically immortal rusts after you wake up 10,000 years to discover you're trapped because nobody can reach the tin of WD-40 sitting off to one side. That's how the Necrons were defeated.
The great enemy of the Necrons, Rust. Not Lord, Rust.
Yeah. So hopefully we'll get an update. Now they're back in the hobby sooner than later.
Yeah, we need some distraction from the current crisis. Bloody hell.
That's a bunny.
Next one. Big Yellow Titan of Doom and His Little Friends by The Ballon.
Yes.
So this is a large one.
Yeah, this does win my Wings of the Week. Iandan 1,000-point force, although I feel like that's cheating somewhat because I don't think there's anything human in there. Oh, sorry, humanoid size in there. Obviously, Eldar, none of them are human. But it's a big fuck off display base built onto the base of a Titan. I'm assuming that's just for weight, or maybe he's trying to distract Sonic the Hedgehog. Regardless, there's quite a lot of rings being hidden in those bases.
I'd say that's either weight or he's using a magnetic sheet to hold them down.
Both. You'll see later on when we get to the Titan base, but the fact that it's gone, here's my Titan, and then here's 1,000-point force around its feet is particularly good. And you can see some pictures, I suppose, coming up where they've got the sort of force arrayed in their unpainted states.
And there are the magnets.
Yep. I like it. It's a many leveled things. How did Bill and Ted describe it? It's many steps and pillars. It's like the front cover of Slippery When Wet.
Yeah, I remember those.
But the most majestical thing for me, apart from seeing it, all painted, because it's quite interesting as to how he's done it and lit. Yeah.
Do we have here a competitor to Blinky?
I don't know. It's only one set of light, and the light's on the base. The light's not doing clever things like making the nipples on the Warwalker glow or anything. But here, this is why he wins the Wings of the Week. Couldn't find a set of wings for the Titan. Fucking Titan. So Scratch built it by getting a coat hanger, bending into a wing shape, sticking plastic card on the front and back, and then starting to layer plastic card and green stuff and hand sculpting all the feathers on. I looked at that.
Man.
Yeah, I looked at that and went, well, that is mental. And you can see in the image below what one of the stormtroopers thought of that. The First Order stormtroopers fucking hung himself.
How does he do that without hands?
Yeah, he clearly, once he was up there, he gnawed those off at the elbows to stop him saving himself. I like Darth Vader's beanie as well. It's quite nice. But yeah, the whole thing's mental. Absolutely mental.
People with
I'd love it to bits.
Time on their hands.
Love it to bits. Fucking insane.
Now all he needs to do is get the wings painted up to a decent standard, and bam, we have a winner.
I assume we'll see that at some point into future. Because if you look at the main picture for the Force,
also,
pretty much
every
fucker's painted.
R2-D2 that is that just a penny box? Is that some USB thingamajig?
It's a mug.
It's a mug?
Yeah, go up to his main picture for the project itself. The one at the title, the heading. Yeah, there you go. See, mug.
Yes, I know. I can see. I saw one of the greatest pencil holders I can remember. It's a bust of Julius Caesar, and the pencils go in the back.
I haven't seen a pencil holder, but I've seen a knife block like that.
Great marketing.
Oh, it's fucking genius.
Whoever thought of that, I think, was very nice. So, next one then would be Night of the Living Dead. Again, Tachi.
That's the bunny. Seen doing some of his work before in color. I'm pretty sure he did it on, what was that other game? A Cthulhu game? Called something Cthulhu something. But dropping into the Night of the Living Dead, and there's a couple of variations. So you have all of these, and like he did for the cock, they all match the artwork very well. Very, very well.
But he got himself a little leeway with a pink shirt instead of the brown.
Yeah. Maybe
But
he likes
other
to
than
mix it
that,
up a bit.
It's quite true to the artwork.
Yeah. But it's the second set of images that I really liked, which is decided to go for the Zombicide Night of the Living Dead and go full black and white, a la the original.
This looks stunning.
Yeah, decided to go for monochromatic. Now, the fact that I've done like 4 miniatures like that for The Walking Dead means I know it's a bit of a pain in the arse, but it looks very effective. So it's really nice seeing somebody else actually do it and fucking completing them rather than just doing the bare minimum. Here's my idea. I'm not going to go any further with this. You kids go nuts. So I just really like it.
Obviously, he did go nuts.
No. They're coming to get you, Barbara. I think there's Johnny, not dead. That won't happen long.
Here's Johnny.
So I don't... presumably it is just like every other Zombicide game, but with different miniatures in it. But it's a nice blend. I like the black and white feel.
Of the box where these miniatures come from, is the bot also in black and white, or is that in multicolor?
Pass. We don't know.
I think it would be a waste for the miniatures to be made in such a monochromatic look if the board was all bright and shiny.
Yeah, but there are ways and means around that. I seen somebody for Mantic's Walking Dead where they'd printed out because it only plays on a 20-inch square mat, so they'd printed one out in black and white and did all the trade in black and white to match. So
yeah, this is really...
Yeah, I like it.
Really one for to enjoy looking. And to... what's the word I'm looking for?
Masturbate?
No, when you lose hope and ask yourself, why am I even bothering painting anymore?
All right, one of those ones.
Yes. One
of the ones where it just depresses you, like a constant, unending tide of painted miniatures from Pete and Doug, that type of thing.
No, not procrastinate, Alloyd. That's the thing I usually do at work. Despair.
That works too. That works.
Next
too.
One. Only
See,
one
say next one, but it's like it's 5 past, so we're past our half hour. Should we even bother looking at this?
Yeah. We are only two more left, so we can go this one.
Okay. You all heard him.
Yes.
I offered him. He can't complain.
Oh, I can. Oh, and I will.
He can, and he probably will. Yeah.
So he Duel of the Fates. He has done Darth Maul.
He has done Darth Maul. It's an interesting one because the other two are somewhere. The other two are certainly shown. I think he got them from the same place everybody else is getting them these days. That Proteus Darkfire people, I think.
The amount of detail he's painted on that small face is insane.
Yeah. He did say he couldn't completely match the tattooing. I think there was a few fine lines that he had to give up on.
Yeah. No shit, Sherlock.
You tried your best and failed. The lesson is never try. How many people out there would have just went, his face is red now? You get a red face, Darth.
I'm at a loss for words. So here we have young, maybe low budget Obi-Wan Kenobi. I think his
Poundland
forehead is a bit
Obi-Wan.
big.
Maybe that's Obi-Wan's stunt double.
They're very possible. And here we have
Apparently,
something that looks like a older version of Qui-Gon if he had been older.
that's very fucking harsh.
Yeah. The STL is perfect test for the Catalyst set, so it's from Skullforge Studios.
Could be James Cosmo. Not Qui-Gon Jinn at all, but that could be the Lord Commander of the Night's Watch coming at you. Certainly got that bulk around his face.
Don't you think he would need a little bit more width around the waist then?
Hey, we don't see him side on, so he could be a chunky monkey there. It's difficult to say. So we've got Obi-Wan stunt double and Lord Commander Mormont. Fighting Darth Maul. But he's done a tremendous job in painting the bolster up. I don't know if he's going to go object source lighting on it. It looks like there might be some if you look at the completed pictures, but I'd like to see a Lloyd shot because far right, see that set of 4, if you look at the far right one, oh, there's Lloyd shot above. Oh, I didn't miss that. Fucking scrolling past it. I was going to say you can see it on the belt. Oh, in that case, yes.
Yeah, he did.
Ooh, lovely OSL.
So there is a reddish tint in his robes. Again, one of these talented bastards I like to... Oh, not going there tonight. No.
Yeah, but it's one worth following because clearly there are 2 other people to come, and then some form of basing.
Yeah, and you need some terrain, some large hole in the ground, some moving doors.
Just do it as diorama.
Yes. And maybe some magnets in the floor that moves the miniatures around.
Like a rock'em sock'em robot.
Oh, speaking of a sucking robot, I saw a Roomba running around a room, and somebody taped those 2 main characters from Titanic in front of it. So he's got Kate and what's his face going around the room, vacuum.
I'm on top of the world, man, and under the table.
Yeah, and then he paints his robot like one of his French girls.
It's the way to do it. It's the way to do it.
Last one for tonight. No, see, I hadn't missed it.
You had it,
just went on wrong.
You tucked it at the end.
Yes. So this is it for tonight.
Yeah, well, that's your half hour. You're not getting any more.
Sudden endings are the best.
I think so.
Yeah, everybody laughs until the Claymore rumor turns around the corner. I've seen that one too. This is
But how's it going to wield such a big sword? Hashtag Black Powder Rimmed Warfare.
Not that Claymore, Jerry. The other one. The one with the writing on it.
The Basque Hilt Claymore. It doesn't get any easier just because it's slightly smaller.
Hey, this face sides the enemy. Well, with everything we've got, do we have a indie of the week?
Do I?
Last week we had Fugu.
There's probably one, but I don't know. I didn't bother scrolling down that far to see because I was being particularly lazy.
There was one. Let me just. Where is that damn doc? There's that doc. We've got Cromzenville.
White. Oh, bad news about Croms recently. Stopped doing resin terrain. It's terrible. No.
So, anyone that pops to mind that you might want to?
Well, Croms, I'm pretty sure we did as an indie on the thingy thing, and the reason it was on there was terrain, and the terrain got taken away last week, which is terrible. You show people Iron Gate scenery. They're delightful. I think a lot of people will know Iron Gate anyway. Bow, ba, bow, ba, 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 bow. Bow, ba, 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 ba,
No
ba, ba,
cookies, thank you.
bow.
So, scenery, or where do we want to go?
Oh, we'll go scenery. They used to do like 3D printy things, but thankfully they've stopped doing that now and do resin casts of 3D printy things, which means you get stuff and it's not covered in little blips of 3D printedness. It's clean, like nature intended it.
Oh, see, they do dead animals stuff.
They do all sorts of weird and wacky shit for populating your tiny fighting worlds. Where are you currently lingering? You've gone some sort of fantasy thing, have you?
I've gone prehistoric.
You've gone prehistoric, you mad bastard. Never go prehistoric.
Never go full retard.
Yeah, this is where Warren lives these days. In the prehistoric era. Clearly what I meant, because he got his hard on for doing tribes of inbreds beating each other with stones. Which I can't quite remember what exactly the purpose was. Pretty sure that was it. Fuck like monkeys and then go for it. But it is the esoteric / minutia of terrain. So there are stuff on this that you'll find in other companies. You'll find like fantasy doorways and that sort of thing. But it's the weird and wacky stuff that Iron Gate do, which I love them for. So it is the likes of the, tanned hides or windbreaks or produce to go on market stalls.
Cauldrons. You can never have too many cauldrons.
Exactly. If you've got 3 witches from, for example, Micro Arts for Terry Pratchett, then you need a cauldron, and they don't do one. So you need a cauldron.
Yes.
Obviously, you have to clean off a lot of that witchy stuff around it, because Granny and Nanny would never have that. But just the sheer volume of stuff they fire out Iron Gate, which really gives that lived-in look.
This is something I think I've never seen before. Stacks of bricks as a construction site.
Yes. I mean, if you want to sit there and make stacks of bricks, you could. You could buy even ceramic bricks and glue them together yourself, type of thing. But it's genius.
And these fit almost every time.
Depending on, I mean, if you want World War II, whatever, red brick, go for it. If you want to paint them in mud color for Adobe bricks and then have them stacked up for your ancient or medieval, then you can do that as well, or Mexican, Spanish, whatever.
Ooh, tavern.
Yep.
Oh, dang it, Jerry. Could you have shown me this over a year ago? This would have been the perfect add-on for my Brawlhouse Brash.
You should have asked, and then I would have shown it to you then. But things like, I mean, obviously, if people are playing Dead Man's Hand,
Brewhouse Bash, that was that,
or the Old West, or any of those games, then having a set of poker tables in the middle of a tavern that can be kicked over at short notice is great. Not sure what game they're playing on that tiny green board with no terrain. You just need little 6-man men. It might be dice based, but that doesn't make sense. No, you've got a green board that's that size. I mean, that's about to be 20 by 20. It could be Walking Dead. They might be just about to deploy.
No, it's Frostgrave.
Frostgrave. Not enough, fucking nowhere near enough terrain for Frostgrave. Fuck me.
Or
start twitching. Twitch. I was unaware that they'd announced the new Willow, but they announced so much stuff the other day that no one person can take it all in.
Neither should you try.
I wonder if it will follow the books, or will they go completely new? Because the books went very dark very quickly in the post-Willow movie world. Just saying. And of course the torture / BDSM devices are quite good as well.
Yeah, but I didn't find anything that would make Warren laugh, so it's rather tame.
Well, that's true. Well, there is a one of those big axes.
Yes.
Which I imagine, bound to have one of those. So yeah, Iron Guess they do a delightful amount of stuff. They don't just do the accessories; they do buildings. If people are after buildings, so Dragonspire is a nice set of what I would call generic fantasy, although could obviously be used for historic as well because they've got that Tudor sort of feel to them. But anybody who played anything vaguely fantasy, I think, has always gone for brick and plaster and beams. So, and where better to put all your gaming tables than in the tavern?
In front of it, because it's nice weather and we all go outside.
You mad bastard.
Who
Not let
mad?
you go outside.
Me? Can't be.
Well.
So, with that said, my sanity going down the drain quicker than the cola going down to my bladder. I thank Jerry for being here. Everybody in the chat and on YouTube watching this a day late. We're going to stop this now and maybe see you again tomorrow. Bye.
Bye-bye.